Hi there, welcome to an ordinary review with PJ. Today I have a special episode in which it's not me who's going to review the movie. It's going to be two of my friends who are as much movie enthusiasts as I am. This is about a Malayalam movie which is making waves in the state of Kerala and elsewhere. It's a movie that stars Mammooty and Jyothika. Jyothika has come back on screen after a few years. The movie is called Kaathal the Core and it deals with a very sensitive subject. So, it's a movie by the director Jeo Baby, who has made the famous The Great Indian Kitchen, which people loved it. So, in this episode, I have two special guests who will be coming on and discussing and reviewing the movie for me and for all of you. I have not seen this movie myself, so I am relying on them to give you a perspective about the movie and why it's so special, why it is a must see. So, welcome to the conversation on an ordinary review with PJ. It's a long conversation. I hope you do enjoy it. So, here we are on a special episode today that we'll be reviewing the movie Kaathal the Core with two of my friends and special guests on the show today. In fact, they will be reviewing the movie and discussing as to why this movie is so special that people who have the opportunity to see it on screen should definitely go and watch it. If not, when it comes to OTT, check it out. So, first of all, let me introduce Rajkin to you. So, he's a passionate engineer, a technologist, but above all, he's a blogger and a movie enthusiast. And he's going to lead the conversation today talking about the movie. He's written a very beautiful blog, and we'll discuss that blog that is written post watching this movie. And then some of you may know Raj. He has come on an episode before when we reviewed the movie Rorschach. So he loves filmmaking. He's an actor. He is an occasional scriptwriter, and he just loves everything about films. He just wants to get involved in filmmaking. So three of us love movies, and that's why we are on this platform together. So Rajkin, here is where I begin with you. You send this beautiful blog to all of us to read about the movie after you have seen it and how it touched you, this movie. So why don't you start by giving a synopsis of what this movie is all about and what's your take on it? Why did it touch you? Why did it move you so much?
Thanks, Piyush. Thanks for having me on the show. It's really an honor to be on this. So yes, on to the movie. As you said, this is one of the I occasionally blog, so this really kind of influenced me. So I thought maybe I should give a my take on it. So when it comes to Kaathal, the plot is pretty straightforward. It's about a very normal, a very normal family, a middle-aged couple, probably 20, 25 years into the marriage sort of thing. And what is coming through initially is that Matthews, played by Mammooty, and Omina, played by Jyothika, they come through as uh, there. What I felt was there's no toxicity or anything, but what was apparently missing was a sense of passion. But probably at that time also you tend to feel that it might be due to 25 years of marriage and things settling down and so on. But and then what we are seeing is he coming on to there is he's actually in a respectable position. Matthews is asked to take on a larger role in the society. He is asked to context in a by-election. That's the setting in which we are seeing this. And then pretty soon, very early in the movie, you find Omina, his wife, filing for a divorce, and she cites something like homosexuality and extramarital relation with somebody else, which has been deliberately underplayed, and it hits you initially. And the whole movie, the next 190 or 90 odd minutes, is all about the different stakeholders in this in a larger society. So you see a typical political party representing a modern institution, or let's say the religious institution, and then her relatives, and then her in-laws, and finally husband. They're all initially shocked, but the simplicity, the actual fact, finally rubs in. And that is how that negotiation and that realization. And I think that is the whole, and that actually has a wider meaning of how the society itself is coming to terms with, and it reflects a lot about this new gen filmmaking as we are seeing, and it's actually a progression and a commentary on Kerala as a society and maybe the larger society itself. So that is the plot is very, very simple. It's peeling away, and there's a distinct Geo style to it as well. uh, Two things which I felt and I wrote also was beyond the obvious plot. I found that okay, we are dealing with identities like husband, wife, and so on, but he takes it one level lower to say Kaathal, core, which is where he's dealing with the real identities of people, like a male, a female, and but then there are the other identities as well that you come about. Like here again, you see a distinct hierarchy that has evolved. There are reasons to it as well. One is, you place the alpha male at the top, and then you have a female, and but then comes the non-straight. We use a term which but the non-straights and the straights look down upon the non-straight Matthews pretty much as a non-manly, and that is where and the trigger actually came in because I was wondering as to what triggered Omina to take the initiative. And here, though we see husband and wife in a different setting, the real identities if you take, Omina actually has a more dominant status, or more, which is again you start questioning who gives you that. Probably that is coming from morality, which is itself a human imagination. So these are all larger things which is triggering her to do it. And there are some very poignant moments in the movie also where she's asking me, I was doing it for you as well. These are things which hits you really hard. The other thing is the nuanced way of dealing with this topic. It's usually homosexuality is a very, very difficult topic to deal with. There's another movie also, Muthon, which was, but what these guys have done here is they've taken handle with the subtlety it demands and have made a commercial success out of it. So it's absolutely remarkable. The sensitivity has been addressed. Probably we can talk about that. And the other aspect finally I led to was this again is a result is of majoritism, because if you look at the human progress, it's the respect you give to the minorities, or whom you think is different. But if you look at the essential nature of nature itself, nothing is different, the very fact. And this is where you've had very thinkers like Yuval explaining, he himself being a homosexual, explaining. So today we see that progression, and this movie is that way, is a clear milestone, and that's why it's being received very well. It reflects again on the maturity of the industry as well as the society as a whole. So I was absolutely thrilled and deeply moved by it. And so I'm sure others will also have the same feelings. But having said that, there are also detractors. I have to say that there are people who are looking at this also saying, there has been some, probably we will discuss going on, but then I'm floored by whatever I saw, and I'm absolutely happy to promote it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great hearing you, Rajkin, because like you said, homosexuality is not an easy topic to discuss. And coming on that point, Raj, particularly to you, because you have been associated with filmmaking, how some of these themes are scripted and handled. Now, someone like Mammooty taking on this kind of a role, and we've seen in film industry where the senior actors, very, very popular stars, hesitate to take bold roles because they feel it'll affect their image, it'll affect their fan base and stuff like that. But so for someone like him to take on this kind of a role and play it with so much sensitivity, right? What's your take on it? You've seen the movie, you've also appreciated it highly, but coming from you, it'll be really interesting to know, for a star like Mammooty, how did he actually deal, and how did he perform in this movie?
Piyush, as Rajkin mentioned, this is not the first time this theme is being discussed in the Malayalam movie industry. But the big difference is such a mainstream actor. I cannot say just a mainstream actor. He's one of the most important, the superstar, the mega star of Malayalam movie. Doing such a thing made a very big difference. Okay, that's why that is one of the reasons why this movie is in the mainstream, and there are so many discussions going around it. And when you talk about Mammooty, I think there are two things I want to mention about this movie. One is the way in which he has portrayed the character. It is fantastic. It is fantastic. Not only when he is the main subject of the frame. In some of the frames, he is not the main subject. Okay, the camera is focusing on someone else, and that person is talking. People will be focusing on that person. Mammooty is there on the frame on the side, but there also the way he is carrying the character. this character is always confused, guilty, whatnot. You can read, the emotions of that character from his face. So of course he's a great actor. We know that he has done it many times earlier also. Then coming to the most important point, Mahmood is a person who has been blamed previously for playing alpha male characters and for playing characters portraying male chauvinism, etc. So it was a very bold move from Mammootty to take up such a role. So we can say that in his current stint in the Malayalam industry, you can see that he has been doing so many different roles, okay, which really has to be appreciated. Like we discussed Rorschach earlier, where it is on the border, right, where it's a negative character or a positive character, and now this character. So hats off to him. Actually, he contributed a lot to bring this to discussion, and the society is talking about it. Maybe I'll add one more thing before I complete my answer. Maybe it is because of Mammootty and because of Jyothika that family is watching this movie. Family members are watching. Okay, otherwise such a theme, family might stay away from the theater, but because of the Mammootty element, people know that still it is a family movie. People are coming with husband, wife, kids. They are coming, watching the movie, and enjoying it and understanding the concept.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was amazed when I read about the movie. I haven't seen it yet personally. We'll wait for it to come on OTT so that I can see it with subtitles. But when I read about the movie, when Rajkin wrote the blog, I actually went and started looking into what the movie is all about. And when I came to know that Mammooty and Jyothika, who's come back on screen after a few years, are acting on this, and this movie is dealing with a very sensitive theme. I mean, it definitely made me curious to see as to when I get an opportunity to see that. Rajkin, coming back to you, right? So you were talking about how this movie, deals with the sensitivity, the guilt, and how you see a little bit of role reversal where Jyotika's character seems to be a more alpha female, alpha male kind of stuff, whereas Mammootty's character is a more effeminate sort of a character, and they play that superbly. In the general sense of how things are when it comes to appreciation of the sexuality of the person and trying to be more open to and accommodate, particularly when we talk about this diversity and other things that are being talked about everywhere in society, in corporates and everything else. Do you see such films making a difference? How do you personally feel when you actually sat through the movie, and later I'm sure you had discussions with your friends, family about the movie? Do you see this kind of movies making a difference, or it's like, okay, one more story, go enjoy it and then move on kind of stuff? How do you see that?
That's a good question. Piyush, I think alluding to what Raj just said. So, Mammootty taking up such a subject makes, other than I already said, Niven has done a wonderful movie from Muthon, but it was not a commercial success or was not discussed. So, I'm sure Raj would know the art of making a movie is, you can have a documentary on this. You can be true. So here is an element where they've weaved in, which is the right mix. So you're taking on a big subject, not just homosexuality, but the impact on family. And I'm sure, and this has resulted in more people. We have seen instances of educated couples coming out today. We've seen blogs by, the Sreelatha, also explaining, hey, I've been through this. There are other people also. So I think the impact has already happened. That's to state the point. The other thing is that the wide, what I'm seeing is, I'm sure Geo's freshness of, and it's something very dear to him as well. He has been expelled from college for taking on some similar themes. So that's where he comes from. But I'm sure Mammootty's wisdom would have gone into in what works, what does not work, how the industry would acknowledge the wider, as Raj was saying, it has to be at the end of the day family going. Though the fact that today the young generation is very upbeat, very, very matured, I would say, rather than the generation of my who approach this topic. We have a problem perhaps, in trying to take this, but that's not the case with the new generation. Having said that, I'm sure a lot of good review would have come in from Mammootty's side as well, in trying to find that right mix. So that, and I'm sure people are talking about it. This will definitely be, you probably know, the way the Great Indian Kitchen also was taken with a very strong statement on feminism, and it has resulted, I'm sure, people will start thinking. You're not going to see explicit, forums or things like that, but I'm sure more people will start opening up, and I'm already seeing, educated couples exploring, and I'm seeing that effects already. So this will be this. I hope, certainly hope that this will be a milestone and a watershed in this, having more bolder moves, at taking this topic.
Yeah, and I think you touched upon the director Geo Baby, and how his early days when he was in college, he actually made a movie, got expelled from the college along with his friends and stuff like that, and his journey has been pretty interesting thereafter. And he's made some wonderful movies. And The Great Indian Kitchen has been a milestone movie. It's got remade in Tamil. It's actually getting remade in Hindi as well. So Raj, looking at the body of work of a director like Geo Baby, if you are an ordinary viewer like us, right, all of us, and we go to the movie theater to enjoy sometimes different themes, sometimes just getting plain entertainment. So when a Geo Baby movie is coming, what's your expectation? As an ordinary viewer, what do you expect from a movie maker like him, and what was that expectation met when you saw this movie?
Yeah, talking about Geo, I had a great opportunity to watch The Great Indian Kitchen sitting with him. He had
awesome.
organized the preview show in Kochi, and I was also invited. So I watched it along with him. And at the end of the movie, he walked up to the front of the audience and said, "I request all of you to write your frank opinion in social media. I'm not asking you to. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not asking you to write good things about the movie. Please write frank things. If you didn't like, please write so. I will not be offended. I will not think that I invited this guy. After watching, he is writing bad things about me. No, I don't have any worries. But request is that you should write about it." I said that to give an idea of what kind of person this Geo Baby is. Very down to earth, very straightforward, simple, and he is what he is, right? He's very open, that kind of person. So that personal experience also has given me a good idea of what we can expect from a Geo Baby movie. Okay, so he has politics, and his politics will be there in the movie, which I think is a necessity, because I have heard some of the directors saying that I made a movie, but that is not my politics. Then I was a bit. Then what kind of movie are you making if it is not reflecting your politics? Okay, so when Geo Baby is making a movie, definitely I'll expect his kind of politics. Okay, and that way also it was very, very satisfying experience. So this is what we expect from a Geo Baby movie. Again, going back to The Great Indian Kitchen, after the movie he asked me, what is your take on this movie? I said, in the last shot, the lady is splashing the dirty water on her husband. I said, I really feel few drops fell on me also. Okay, and till then I never thought that a movie can change a person, but it did change me, because I was not that extreme, but still in some cases I had a feel when I am doing some household things. I had a feel that I am helping my wife, okay, as if it is her responsibility. I'm helping. So I was able to realize that even I had a problem, and the next day it got released in the OTT, not very popular OTT. But I made it a point that I told my wife, you have to watch this. Part of this is my confession. Please watch this movie. Okay. So Geo Baby has been making movies that is directly impacting people's life, and I think he has done it again. Having said that, he is not a person who will try to make it, all his movies. His last movie called Sreelatha Caterers is an out and out hilarious movie. I don't know how many people would have watched it. Bit of politics is there here and there also, but the entire movie is really hilarious. It is there in Amazon Prime. Maybe if people have not watched it, again you can watch it. And again, he has acted in that movie. He's a wonderful actor also.
Awesome. I think you have given a great perspective, particularly getting the opportunity to sit with him and watch his movie, one of the movies that won him an award, and his most popular work out of the entire body of work that he has done so far. I think it's just fabulous experience. I think we envy you, man, Raj. Both me and Rajkin would be envying you on that. So guys, I think we are almost there on the time. So if you have to leave one recommendation for people who have not seen this movie yet, including myself, right, and I would be looking forward to when I can get the opportunity to see it, what would that be? What would be that message that guys just don't miss this movie, right? So, Rajkin, why don't we have you say that, and then maybe we'll conclude with what Raj's message would be.
Can you repeat? I lost you for a bit.
No, what I was saying was, if you have to leave the people who have not seen this movie, one message, one recommendation as to why they should not miss this movie, right? What would that be?
This, I think, as I already said, it is not only a movie for the young people, but for the entire generation. Most of just as Omana comes to only when life starts passing you by, people come to a realization. And Omana, once she has a grown-up daughter, and it's once she realizes that she takes an action. So I think it's you have to understand Jeo is from the new generation. He is actually reflecting, and he comes from very strong leftist meanings also. So it's also a young generation actually showing in a very humane manner. And this is where I also felt you also have this godfatherly review from Mammooty as well. So, but the point is, the message is also to people of our generation, and maybe the previous year, the 90s. So of the fact that this is an important topic, this has to be discussed, and it's also, I'm sure it will it's going to be discussed within the families as well, of middle-aged people, on trying to understand, hey, this has to be there has to be a more humane treatment. And one other thing I wanted to also touch upon is, I think he takes reply. He is inspired by Brokeback Mountain and movies like that as well. There is a humane. There has to be a way this has to be treated, rather than shying away. So yeah, that's all. Finally, I would say it's a must-watch for both the young and people of our generation.
Awesome. Raj, any concluding thoughts from you?
Yeah, Piyush, before I get into the reasons for watching the movie, I think it won't be fair from our side if you do not mention the script writers here. The script for the movie is written by Adarsh Sukumaran and Porson Skaria, two young guys. Okay, so they have written this movie during the COVID times. Okay, so they have done a wonderful job. And as Rajkin rightly mentioned, there were so many inputs from Mammooty and so many inputs from Jeo Baby. And again, they went to so many directors before hitting upon Jeo Baby, who agreed to do the movie. And Mammooty was so excited, it seems. He used to send voice messages every now and then saying that, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? And Jeo will pass it on to the script writers, and they used to modify that movie. So that's how this movie was made. Okay. Now, coming to the answer to your question, why people should be watching it. I would say broadly, there are three reasons, I would say. I will tell it in the ascending order of priority. Okay. The least reason that you should watch is because it's a simple, beautiful movie. Anybody who wants to see a simple, beautiful movie should watch it. Number one. Number two is Mammooty. Mammooty, again, two aspects. One is his to watch him portraying this character. Second one, the boldness in which he took up the character. And the third one, and the most important thing, is a theme that is dealing with. Okay, definitely, this is a movie that's a need of the hour. You can see it very, very relevant because of the things that are happening nowadays. Jeo Baby is getting banned from some of the events for him, coming out with this movie, etc. So that shows us how important it is to talk about this topic right now. That would be the most important reason why everybody should watch this movie.
Awesome, guys. So thank you, gentlemen, for being on the Ordinary Review with PJ. I'm sure the conversation was very interesting for me personally, and I think there's enough reasons for people who have not seen this movie to go and check it out in a theater near you if you've not seen it already, and if you have if you understand Malayalam language. Otherwise, people like me will wait for it to come on OTT and watch it with subtitles. So thank you so much, Rajkin and Raj, for sparing the time today, and it was lovely having conversation with you, both of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Piyush. Thanks for having us. The pleasure is ours, actually.
Same here. Bye-bye.